welcome to all the member countries of the UN. Let me start the 75th session of the UN General Assembly by welcoming tomorrow's leaders to today's United Nations. Seeing all of you here, it is a timely reminder that our organization exists to serve succeeding generations. I'm heartened to see such a large and enthusiastic group of students engaged in global issues. Together, you make the United Nations as it should be. People from all countries coming together to find a solution through constructive debate and an exchange of ideas. Young delegates, it is when your conference is over that the real work begins. With this experience, you can become a representative of the United Nations. Student ambassadors changed with the building a better understanding of the organization, what it is, what it does, and what can it do, and assume this responsibility at a crucial period in the life of the United Nations. Every day, on a wide range of issues, our organization is expected to deliver in new and better ways.
The World Health Organization was established in the wake Second World War on 7th April 1948 to bring peace and universal health to all. There are 21.9 crore confirmed cases and 45.5 lakh deaths due to COVID. The World Health Organization is tracking the pandemic, advising on critical interventions, and supplying vital medical needs to those in need. So let us start the session with the roll call. China.
China present.
Israel.
Israel present.
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe present.
Brazil.
Brazil present.
Japan.
Japan present.
Italy.
Italy present.
UK.
UK present.
India.
India present.
Spain.
Spain present.
South Africa.
South Africa present.
Venezuela.
Venezuela present.
Russia.
Russia present.
Canada.
Canada present.
USA.
USA present.
Australia.
Australia present.
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh present.
Now, this floor is open for the presentation about COVID situation in the countries. First one, China.
Thank you, Chair, for giving us this opportunity. We found our first case in December 31st, 2019. Our country has total 95,010 positive cases and 4,636 deaths. Our country has recovery rate of 95.2% and death rate of 4.8%. I would like to pass to my fellow delegate.
As a precautionary measure, we have put lockdown in Wuhan and other parts of our country from 23 Jan 2020 to 8 April 2020. Travel restrictions were there even after lockdown and borders were closed during lockdown. All schools, colleges, universities were closed. We have developed two vaccines, Sinovac and Sinopharm, which were working really good in our country against COVID-19. 55% of our population were vaccinated. Although the epidemic situation in China was gradually stabilized, the severe situation in the world impacts China's economy. As we managed to bring COVID-19 under control, the economic growth was recovered quickly. Our economy grew by 7.9% in 2021. But the unemployment rate, which was 4.6% before COVID-19 in 2019, rose to 5% in 2021. I would like to pass this to my fellow delegate.
Consequently, this situation resulted in manpower and exponential rise of the infected cases at the early stage of the epidemic. To limit the spread of the virus, our government has adopted specialized, innovative and advanced systems like internet hospitals as well as high technologies. The essential use of these new sources helped us win the fight against the virus. As the rampant spread continues outside our country, we have close borders with other countries. And we are not only working for COVID-19 but also for unknown infections in the future. With the outbreak in our country, the government has decided to ban any type of face-to-face teaching. So therefore, the Ministry of Education decided to launch an innovative titled Ensuring Learning undisrupted while classes are being disrupted in the education system and including online classes in the education component. Thank you. Israel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chef. The population of this country is 90.5 lakhs people. The total COVID cases are 11,50,625. The dead people are 7,319 and recovered people are 10,63,507. The first case in Israel was confirmed on 21st February 2020 when a female citizen tested positive for coronavirus disease 2019 at the Shield Medical Center after returning from quarantine on the Diamond Princess ship in Japan. Even though Israel is still short of getting its total population fully vaccinated, it is trying its best to help other countries like India. We helped India address the difficult situation when the spread of novel coronavirus disease. Now, I pass this to my co-delegate.
On 27 January 2020, the Minister of Health had signed the People's Health Decree to expand the Minister's powers to deal with the coronavirus pandemic. Our government on 27 March 2020 had published temporary regulations to provide tax relief measures related to the pandemic. The government started gradually closing sea and land crossings, air transfers, isolation requirements till general lockdown on 7th April 2020. Israel's COVID-19 vaccination program had started on 19th December 2020. Its official name is Give a Shoulder and has spread very quickly. By late February, authorities had administered at least one dose to 50% of the total population of Israel, and much of Israel's immunization program used Pfizer vaccines. Israel had fully vaccinated over half its population by March 25, 2020. Till September 2021, 66.1% of the total population have been given their first dose and 61.1% are fully vaccinated. Just like in other countries, even Israel's economy and education system have been troubled due to COVID-19 pandemic. The GDP has grown, but the rate at which it has grown has been falling very quickly. In 2020, the GDP was 2.6% and at present, it is 446.71 USD. Unemployment rate shot up to its highest level in at least 50 years. Its average for this year is 15.7%. But still, Israel fared better than other developed countries. One of the reasons for this is that our nation's tech economy has still continued to thrive. Our country's education system was not that fortunate. It is at its intense difficulty. Even though schools can be conducted online, not all youngsters have computers or access to internet. Halil professionals, for instance, have supported our Israel students by one-on-one support. Even various programs have also been helping our students. Thank you.
Zimbabwe, if you have the floor. Good afternoon, Honorable Chair of the UN and my fellow countries. I would like to thank the Chair for inviting our country to this prestigious event. I want to bring to everyone's notice that we have tried our best to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in our country, but on 20th March 2020, a male resident of Victoria Falls was affected first. Since then, the amount of COVID cases in our country rose up to 1,26,220. Wasn't expected, and 4,536 people have died because of the virus. But despite these sad events, we are happy to say that 1,18,655 people have recovered from the virus and over 80% of our country's population is vaccinated. Now I pass this to my co-representative.
The government closed all international borders and internal migration was restricted. The first lockdown in our country was imposed on the 30th of March 2020 and currently we are on level 4 lockdown. All the public areas were also shut down. On 22nd February 2021, our country launched the vaccination program for Zimbabwe. As for now, 2.5 million people have received their first dose and 1.7 million people have received their second dose. The approved vaccines in our country are Sinopharm and Sinovac from China, Covaxin from India, and Sputnik V from Russia. Zimbabwe is also the first and also the only country in Africa to launch vaccines for the ages 14 to 17. Now I would like to pass it on to my co-director.
Overcoming economical challenges, natural disasters, and pandemic, social and economic impact surveys conducted in 2020, which showed nearly 5 lakh Zimbabwean households have at least lost one member who lost their jobs, causing many households to fall into poverty. Food insecurity was also exacerbated by inadequate social measures taken by the government. Pandemic was also putting pressure on education. Taking in consideration of students' health, we have switched the class modes to online, as schools across the country were closed in lockdown measures. Remote learning was very critical in the rural areas, especially for poor households. Only 9% of school-going children in rural areas were reported using mobile applications and 40% in urban areas. Unemployment rate was also rose in the first quarter of 2021. In 2020, our unemployment rate was 5.73%, which rose by 0.27% in 2021. The GDP was also increased by 3.9% in 2021, a significant improvement after 2 years of recession. Thank you for the chairpersons to giving us this opportunity. Thank you.
President, you have the floor.
Good afternoon to all and respected chair. We are here to discuss the situation of the COVID in our country. In our country, 2.09 crore members have been infected by COVID. 5.86 lakhs have been lost the lives due to COVID. In our country, first case was recorded on 25th February 2020 when a person traveled to Italy tested positive for COVID. In our country, 2.005 crore members have been recovered by COVID. That is, 95.5% by total cases have been recovered by COVID. I would like to pass on my coordinator.
Under the leadership of the President, we have implemented a plan to combat the virus. Social distancing and sanitization is being followed everywhere. In the past, we were opposed to importing vaccines, but now we are realizing the importance and are importing the Russian-based Sputnik V and Indian-based Covaxin. Now, I would like the co-delegate to continue.
COVID-19 has majorly impacted the economy and education. Now let's see about economy. On 21st March, our economy minister Paul Yeo announced a series of aid measures to reduce the impact on economy. On 23rd March, our government has announced a package of rupees 85.8 billion for states, by which at the end of 2020, our country's GDP shrunk by 4.1%. The unemployment rate also increased to 14.1% from 13.8% in 2001. Now let's see about education. On 20th March, our government have closed all the schools one by one by President J. This created a huge impact on education. The children from disadvantaged faced many problems from digital learning. Overall, our country went through many up and down during this pandemic. Thank you.
Japan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, respected chair, for giving us this opportunity. The COVID-19 pandemic in Japan is part of the worldwide pandemic of coronavirus disease. COVID-19 caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome, coronavirus 2, SARS-CoV-2. The first known death from coronavirus in Japan was recorded on 14 February 2020. The second outbreak started in between 11 March 2020 and 23 March 2020. According to the National Institute of Infectious Diseases, the spread of COVID-19 was started in European type and Wuhan type. The first COVID case of Japan was on 16 January 2020. Currently, the COVID cases in Japan are 1,580,517 and the deaths are 16,387, which is 1%. Among them, recovered patients are 1,380,967. The total vaccinated people are 72,392,138, which is 57.2%. I would like to pass this to my colleague.
Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has declared a state of emergency in Tokyo and 6 other prefectures. But this is no European or Wuhan style lockdown. The state of emergency announced applies only to Tokyo, Kanagawa, Chiba, Saitama, Osaka and Hyogo in the west and Fukuoka in the south. However, one poll shows that 75% of the people think that the Prime Minister took too long to declare a state of emergency in Tokyo. Our country gave 14.1 crore vaccine doses to its population and 6.31 people in our country are fully vaccinated. 50% of Japanese population is fully vaccinated. The vaccines used in our country are BioNTech, Pfizer, Moderna and Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. I'd like my co-delegate to take over.
To not spoil the education of our students, our government has conducted online classes. This reduced the number of COVID-19 cases and did not spoil the future of our students. During the lockdown, there was no production in the country, which led to economical and financial loss. We exported clean and sanitized goods to different countries and gained our original profit. We have been trying in different ways to keep our country safe. We also helped countries like China during this pandemic. Our hospitals have been highly sanitized and advanced in machinery, and treatment kits have been imported. Our country has been taking a lot of precautions, and the number of COVID-19 cases have been reducing. We have been using artificial intelligence to help us in this situation of the COVID-19. The vaccination process has been taking place, and about 50% of our population has been vaccinated. Thank you.
Italy, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair, for giving us this opportunity. The first ever case of COVID-19 was confirmed on 20th Feb 2020 in the Lombardy region of northern Italy in the late night when two Chinese people traveled from Wuhan tested positive for the virus. 1 week later, an Italian man tested positive who showed signs of cough, fever and cold. Since then, the case has been uncontrollable and has affected 45 lakh people of our country, out of which it has succumbed 1.3 lakh people. The recovery rate is quite impressive, which is 94.4%, and the death rate is 2.8%. The total number of recovered patients is 43 lakh, while 548 patients are being treated in the ICU with extreme conditions. I would like my co-delegate to continue.
Our government has imposed lockdown on 9th March 2020 to 18th May 2020 to stop the spread of COVID-19 in our country. Our government has introduced a series of measures starting from cure immediately. These measures were subsequently strengthened and extended to pre-launch degree and August degree. These measures were taken to support working parents and to ensure the necessary levels of liquidity by guaranteeing income, suspension of tax and social security contributions. I would like to pass this to my co-delegate.
We all know that our country was in lockdown from March 9, 2020 till the end of May 2020 with dramatic consequences. In the first quarter of 2020, GDP fell by 5.4% and in the second quarter of 2020, GDP fell by 12.8%. Schools, colleges and offices went online. Families with no digital services suffered during this COVID situation. Unemployment also increased during this COVID time. We observed that the unemployment rate was 10.2 in 2021, but it used to be 9.2 before. Coming to health, 71% of our people are vaccinated totally and are safe. Thank you. UK, you can have the floor.
Good morning everyone, I'm the delegate of UK and I would like to thank the chair for giving me an opportunity to speak. Currently, 7 lakh people are infected by COVID in our country. The recovery rate is 80.3% and the death rate is 1.9% of all cases. Our country so far has approved 4 vaccines for use, which are the Pfizer BioNTech, Oxford AstraZeneca, Moderna vaccine and the Janssen vaccines. 3 of these vaccines need 2 doses for maximum protection, and more than 48 million people in our country have received at least 1 dose of the COVID vaccine. We were aided by the WHO during the COVID pandemic, and we aided India by sending the ventilators and oxygenators and plumbing our and a co-representative to continue.
Thank you. The first lockdown was imposed on 23rd March 2020. All the schools and offices and other public areas were closed until March. The government was clear that the lockdown will be lifted up when mortality and infection rates have fallen off. Protecting NHS was one of the main drives behind the government's lockdown and a post-lockdown. COVID cases and the deaths have fallen over May and June and remained low over summer. So most of the schools started to reopen by early September. Serious cases rise significantly in this month. The lockdown and restrictions were reimposed. Inland and Scotland have strict restrictions. Inland went into a 1 month of a long lockdown. The third wave impacted very badly and lost many of the lives. The GDP of before COVID is 19 lakhs and after COVID is nearly 5 lakhs. Unemployment rate before COVID was 3.74% and after COVID was 4.7%. From here, I like my other delegate to continue.
As my co-representative said, COVID has affected many countries and caused many people to lose their lives. We also took actions and started many schemes. Measures like JRS scheme and furlough scheme protected jobs during this pandemic. The JRS scheme is a scheme introduced on 20 March 2020 to support employers who cannot maintain their workforce because their operations have been affected by coronavirus. As country after country goes into lockdown, whole industries have ground to a sudden halt. The retail, hospitality and travel sectors had been hit particularly hard as a result. Many businesses have responded to this crisis by placing their staff on furlough, that is unpaid leave, rather than laying them off completely. Thank you.
India, you have the floor.
I thank the chair for giving me this opportunity. The population of our country is 136.64 crores. In that, 60% of the people are infected by the corona. The recovery rate is 12% and the death rate is 4%. The vaccines used in our country are Covaxin and the Covishield. About half of the members are vaccinated in our country. Now I'm gonna give it to my co-delegate.
Thank you. Our government decided to conduct 2 phases of lockdown. Night curfews and lockdown for a couple of hours were held. The pandemic has taken over the country. We were tense about the country's young generation, so we closed schools, colleges and universities and told them that they are going to have online sessions for them. Office employees were set to work from home. From now, I am going to pass it over to my co-delegate.
Thank you. As already said by my co-delegate, our government has taken many measures. Our economy GDP has fallen by 6%, which means many people working in different sectors lose their jobs. To cope up with their needs, our government is supporting them with monthly pensions under the 2005 Act of Indian Unemployment. Our education has taken a flip so that people don't waste their education during the crucial times of their lives. Our government has taken help from universities such as Oxford and Cambridge for vaccines and also for France and Germany for medical supplies. Thank you.
Spain, you have the floor.
I thank the chair for giving us this opportunity. The population of our country is around 4.69 crores. The first case of COVID-19 in our country was recorded on the 29th of January 2020. It was found in a German tourist who came to the remote islands on a vacation. The total cases reported in our country are around 49 lakhs. The deaths that are reported are around 85,000. The recovery rate is around 40 lakhs. The most affected areas in our country are the Catalonia, the community of Madrid and Andalusia. The recovery rate of our country is around 72% and the death rate around 28%. I would like my co-delegate to continue.
After World Health Organization declared on March 11, 2020, the COVID-19 outbreak had reached the level of global pandemic, we took measures like protecting citizens' health and mitigate the economic consequences of the lockdown measures. We want strict rules. The free movement of people have been limited, and the activity of retail premises and establishment
as well as schools and hotels and restaurants have been suspended generally. All schools and other in-person educational facilities have been closed. Vaccines like Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, Oxford are given to people to prevent COVID-19. Around 3.51 crore people are vaccinated completely. I would like my co-delegate to continue.
The COVID in Spain has a lot of impact on finance, education, religion, tourism, and etc. From 17th March to 14th April 2020, the death rate in Spain was 68% higher than the usual and 21,882 excess deaths occurred. The peak of excess deaths occurred during the week of 27th March to 3rd April and it was 5 times larger than the flu season of 2019. Finance. The Spanish stock market IBEX 35 has dropped 5.96%, which is the fourth largest in its history, and on 12th March it has dropped another 14.06%, which is the largest in its history as per the 2020 stock market crash. On 9th March, the Serbia has announced the cancellation of classes in the Autonomous Community of Madrid, and the Basque government had closed all the schools in the municipalities of Victoria and Alicante. Spain tourism is also one of the highly impacted due to COVID. There was 98% decline in the international tourist arrivals as compared to 2019, where it has registered as the second country with most international tourist arrivals. Thank you.
South Africa, you have the floor.
I thank the chair for giving this opportunity to me. The population of our country is 5.86 crore. The first COVID case was confirmed on 5th March 2020. The NICD had confirmed that the suspected case of COVID-19 has tested positive. The EOC has helped us after the confirmation of very first COVID case. The media was briefing about this so that the public is immediately kept updated. In our country, 28.2 lakh people are affected with COVID, wherein there is a notice of 83,419 deaths. In studies, it has been proved that 2.5 million people have successfully recovered. The recovery rate of our country is 92% and fatality rate is 3%. Now I would like to pass it to my co-delegate.
Our country's first vaccine are from Johnson & Johnson vaccine. We have taken this vaccine because it has been proven effective against the COVID-19 501Y.V2 variant. We have also immediately secured 11 million doses of this, and also we have catched an agreement of 2.8 million doses of Johnson & Johnson vaccine for the second quarter, so that there won't be any shortage or any urgent needed recovery vaccines. And also we have taken an agreement with COVAX facility for 12 million vaccine doses, and also we have taken an agreement in prior with Pfizer for 20 million vaccine doses. We're not only giving vaccine for our population, but we have also started an immunization program where 67% of our population are totally immunized so that they can fight against the pandemic. In observation, it is noticed that 1.35 doses are given in our country, whereas 64.9% of the lakh population are totally vaccinated, and in clear observation, there is a notice of 11.1% of the vaccination given for the population. There are no such vaccination-related deaths recorded in our country. Not only this, but we have also started COVID-19 emergency program as a scheme wherever it is implemented by our Central Health Minister to take initiation to immunize the population. We have a decrease of 10% of freshly made positive COVID cases because of this scheme. I thank the Red Cross Society for helping us as an NGO, for giving us essentials such as masks, sanitizer, and providing beds, and to transport the patients in a contactless manner. I would like to pass this to my co-representative.
As my co-representative said, our government has taken many measures against the COVID-19. The schools and universities have been closed by our government, and online platforms like Zoom, Skype, etc. are being used by our students currently. Because of the lockdown, borders are being closed and the industrial activity in our country has been scaling down drastically. The commodity prices and share prices also have been decreased. About 5% of GDP rate and up 34% of unemployment rate is currently present in our country. Our government has conducted over 4 million COVID tests currently, our government have full hospital capacity, including ICU beds, ventilators, etc. We would like to thank all the governments who have helped us in the battle of the COVID. Thank you.
Venezia, you have the floor.
I thank Chair for giving me this opportunity to present our country. The total cases in our country is around 3,48,724, and recovery rate of mortality rate of our country is around 4,500. And I am glad that recovery rate of our country is around 3,48,222. I would like my co-representative to continue.
We have taken many government measures, which include nationwide lockdown, which is imposed on 13 March 2020, and we have also conducted awareness programs related to COVID-19 safety measures, and we have closed all the borders of Colombia and Canada. Canada has given some funds which has helped in our economical loss and balancing. Thank you, Canada, for that. And then we mainly concentrated on citizen support facility, which helps the citizen to overcome the economical loss. And also we are also concentrated on education, as it is our future. Thank you.
Yes, so coming to economy, our GDP has been decreased by $63.96 billion to $47.26 billion, and we are primarily dependent on petrol, import and export of goods. As that has been stopped due to COVID protocols, that is showing great impact on our economy. Not only that, and even migration of many people, and the minimum wage has been amounted to $4 per month. So such kind of decrease in that an increase in credit is showing a great impact on us. And we are getting the situation back to normal by implementing surveys and increasing the employment rate. Because the employment rate is increased automatically, the economy gets generated. So coming to health, though many doctors have left their jobs, so it's not that tough for us. Because now nearly 90% of the hospitals are having full-fledged medical staff and proper sanitization methods. Coming to education, it was worst actually, and we have shut down many schools due to economic pressure. But we open them soon when the economy gets stronger and the situation gets under control. And for the schools which are open currently, we have given the option only for online classes. Thank you.
Yeah, the floor is yours. Good afternoon, respectful Chair. Our country has reported around 7 million cases of corona with 97% recovery rate, around 3% mortality rate. COVID-19 has triggered deep global recession, because of which our GDP growth has contracted by 6%, with steep rise in unemployment, reduced fiscal revenues, weakened banking sector. COVID-19 has also affected our educational sector. Our government took necessary measures to prevent this dreadful disease. We feel proud to say that Sputnik is the world's first registered vaccine for prevention of COVID-19. I pass this to my co-representative.
To bring the pandemic under control, we imposed lockdown, initiating a rapid increase in testing to ensure the ever-present monitoring of the epidemic spread. Enhanced human resources have been put in place, ensuring that there are enough frontline warriors who are well trained. The Sputnik V vaccine, which is the first vaccine ever found for the cure of coronavirus, is developed by the NIDA Research Center. It is registered on 11th of August 2020. Our vaccine is in use in 70 nations, and evidences prove that it is safe and effective, with efficacy rate of 92%. I'd like to pass this over to my co-representative.
The GDP in Russia has worsened in 2020 but got better in the first quarter of 2021. We have implemented the recovery plan and it has been working. We had a lot of ups and downs in health, but we are trying to make it better for the citizens of our country. We have started an early vaccination drive and imposed many lockdowns. The food security is not better from the point of view of physical accessibility. We have closed all schools and opted for online education for the security and safety of our students. We have also implemented distance learning for the secondary students. Thank you.
Bangladesh, you can present on the floor.
Honorable Chairman, respected representatives of nations, Bangladesh has realized the strength of COVID-19 since it was first reported in Wuhan, China in December 2019. But COVID-19 affected rapidly.
we go to Bangladesh's first-world cases. These cases were recorded in March 2020. But the cases are still rising. About 50 lakh people and got infected and about 26,000 people have died. Dhaka and Chittorgarh were the most infected places in Bangladesh. On 27 January 2021, Bangladesh implemented vaccines. And by 30th April 2021, about 5.6 million people have received their first dose and 733,000 people have received their second dose. Bangladesh GDP fell to 0.5% in 2019 compared to 8.4% in 2020. Now, I would like to pass it to my co-repository representative.
In economics, we have effects on lives of people, especially on business enterprises and working people across the country. Our PM has announced a package of $600 million to support export-oriented industry. And further, we have announced another package of $67.7 billion. IMF also provided us a loan of $732 million. GOB adapted many initiatives to prevent the spread of COVID-19. MOHF Republic of our country has developed Bangladesh Preparedness and Response Plan. The main goal of this plan is to prevent and control the spread of COVID-19. And we have increased the number of ICUs, trained 2,000 doctors and 5,000 nurses. We have adopted some policies in order to minimize the transmission of COVID-19. Serious drawbacks were found in hospitals regarding the availability of ventilator supports, but we overcome by installing oxygen plants. To help students deal with the adverse impacts of school closures, we have introduced remote learning through television, mobile phones, radio, and internet. After the schools were closed, we have launched educational programs on Samsung. Although the health crisis may last for a while, the economic crisis that the pandemic caused will outlive and last for several years. Thank you. Now I would like my co-delegate to continue.
Thank you. Our country is facing a food crisis owing to the rise in food prices all over the world. Our country has not been spared. Economists have predicted that more than 30 million are facing starvation. Our country is already facing a challenge of inadequate arable land to satisfy the ever-increasing population. Our country needs to increase food reserve. It has a huge deficit of general food like rice, wheat. Our country has over 5 lakh ton deficit now. If the government does not take real initiative in its increase, then people will end up suffering. Our country began the administration of COVID-19 vaccines on 27 January 2021, while mass vaccination started on 7 February 2021. The Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine was the only COVID-19 vaccine authorized for emergency use from January to April 2021. On 21 June 2021, China gave our country priority access to a COVID-19 vaccine once it was successfully developed in July 2020. India has always been a first responder to any crisis faced by our country. They have always extended a helping hand, and a huge thank you to India for helping us through this pandemic situation. Thank you for this marvelous opportunity, Chair.
Canada, you have the floor.
Greetings, Honorable Chair and esteemed delegates. Canada has over 15.4 lakh positive cases, out of which 27,000 deaths and 14.7 people have recovered. The first case was found in Sunnybrook on 25th January 2020. The vaccines that are approved in our country are AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine and Pfizer-BioNTech. About 5 crore citizens have been vaccinated by the first dose of the vaccine and 2 crore citizens have been vaccinated by the second dose. I will pass the mic on to my co-representative to talk about the government measures.
As a country is worse in COVID-19, our government is acting to minimize the COVID-19 pandemic on Canadians. There have been precautions taken by the government, which are collaboration and ethical decision making, and etc. There are some initiatives by the government, which are the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy Program, the Temporary Wage Subsidy Program, the Work Sharing Program, the Canada Recovery Hiring Program, the Canada recovery benefit, employment insurance work giving program. Now I hand over the mic to my co-delegate to continue my speech.
Thank you. Our country's economy and health have been affected during the COVID-19 pandemic as for any other nation. Many large-scale events that were planned to take place in 2020 were cancelled or delayed, including major sporting and artistic events. 79% of the fatalities occurred in the COVID-19 pandemic are from the long-term care homes. Such health complications that the Federal Minister of Health invoked the Quarantine Act, which has been used for the first time in the legislative history. Laurentian University was the first to voluntarily suspend classes and move to online instructions on March 12, which was quickly followed by many other institutions across the country. The impact was also when the Bank of Canada thrice lowered its overnight rate targets, citing negative shocks to our economy during the COVID-19 pandemic. Health included, the COVID-19 pandemic had a deep impact on our economy, leading us into a recession. And yet, we are proud to say that we have been able to substantially conquer this worldwide pandemic of COVID. The unemployment rate of 30.7% noted in the initial months of COVID, which has been the highest of it since 1976, is now lowered to below 7% and is expected even better in the upcoming months. Our country's education system is not much affected by the online instructions. Moreover, we have been assisting WHO since the very beginning of the pandemic and contributed a whopping $2.5 billion only for international assistance. Thank you for listening to us. I yield our time to the chair.
USA can present on the floor.
Thank you, Chair, for giving this opportunity to represent my country. More than 6 lakhs people have died in the United States by COVID-19. 12% of the population have been infected by this COVID-19 at present. And 17.5 crores people have been fully vaccinated by active vaccines, Pfizer and Moderna. 37.6 crores doses have been administered in total. Thank you, and from now on, my fellow delegate will continue.
Our government is taking many measures to ensure the safety of citizens. Vaccination is one of the most efficient ways to counter the virus. Our government is currently operating strong and robust vaccination drives to hopefully vaccinate the entire population by October 2022. Our government is imposing stringent travel restrictions and a vaccination has been launched for citizens in COVID-affected nations. Our government ensured fast-track approval of new vaccines and testing kits and imposed safe and safe distancing restrictions. It made sure online education progressed smoothly and that the pandemic did not compromise children's future. Our government is trying its best despite these restrictive measures not to violate citizens' freedom and rights. From now on, my co-delegate.
Thank you. Workers, doctors and health infrastructure was burdened by a large caseload during the second wave. Nationwide unemployment and loss of job security was seen due to nationwide lockdown and financial losses. But we are steadily coming back economic stability. And hunger was widespread due to closure of many shelters and stores. But we countered it through humanitarian aid and federal nutrition programs like school lunch programs. And talking about the vaccine, we manufactured 2 main vaccines which were Moderna and Pfizer. Federal government sent vaccine allocations of doses for states and territories. Our manufacturers shipped millions of vaccines to states and countries. Local pharmacies and clinics gave special attention to health workers and infrastructure and priority patients. Thank you.
Australia, you have the floor.
Hello everyone, I would like to thank the Honorable Chair for giving us the opportunity to speak here today. As we all are aware of the problems which are faced by the world today due to COVID-19, so let's move on and discuss how our government handled the COVID-19. We have a huge number of active cases in our country which are around 75,324 and deaths around 1,098. We are proud to announce that we have 77 lakh people fully vaccinated all over our country. We have numerous vaccines in use, but Pfizer vaccine is predominantly used now. Now on, I'll pass this to my co-representative.
To prevent the spread of COVID-19, our government is taking numerous measures like opening parental clinics, testing people suspected to have the virus, monitoring those
by the Australian government today due to COVID. 3 in 10 Australians had gone through food insecurity due to COVID-19. Our government is helping up to 35% of the food insecure Australians. Young people have been the hardest hit by the impact of COVID-19 in our country. Creative schools have experienced interruptions in every state and territory, although the extent and the period of closure had varied significantly across jurisdictions. COVID has been a monumental impact on Australian economy where GDP has fallen up to 4.6%. The unemployment rate was 0.2117 percentage points lower than 2020. Our government is maneuvering $70.6 billion economic support package to encourage investments and keep people in jobs. We would like to sincerely thank all the countries which have helped us during pandemic.
I hope all countries have presented their difficulties due to Corona. We will be starting the question hour. Any questions?
Okay. The first country as the question is India.
A part of Indian economy depends on remittance. And as our country is trying to recover from the COVID pandemic, we would request USA for easy travel restrictions to Indian migrants.
With the permission of Chair, I would like to answer this question.
Please answer the question.
USA itself is the greatest sufferer of the pandemic. We have been 88% of the population vaccinated. We are still not able to control the spread. We allow travel via neutral points with 14 days of quarantine and may continue this restriction for a few months. Thank you.
With the permission of Chair, we are not satisfied with the answer of USA. So we would like to pose a question to USA. You can proceed with your answer. But our country has allowed the travelers of US migrants even when USA is most affected. So would it USA consider the travel restrictions?
With the permission of the Chair, I'd like to answer the question.
You can answer the question.
USA is following all restrictive measures and ensured all migrants are infection-free. Some countries are not following effective ways of testing, so the USA continues to impose travel restrictions. Thank you.
Next one, the UN organization has a question. As per the report, for elderly people left to die and is socialized healthcare to be praised.
With permission of Chair, I would like to answer this question.
You can answer the question.
We force to prioritize healthcare resources. Our country's fertility rate of 5% is higher than the global average of 3.5%. As countries continue to surge confirm cases continue to surge, health officials are scrambled to find adequate resources. Despite a countryside lockdown, our country's death toll surpasses China within months. So we were unable to check elderly citizens' health. Thank you.
UK, you can present your views.
We are not satisfied with the answer and we would like to put a question. Does it justify the deaths of hundreds of aged people in old age homes? Canada would like to stand in solidarity with Italy against this allegation. The Honourable Chair permits.
You can answer this.
Thank you. I agree that the senior citizens have the highest share in the mortality rate, but when one has a limited set of measures, focus is predominantly on the younger generation, which is the future of any nation, and which should also be pacekeeping with economy, health, food, education, and many other criteria. Additionally, when compared to the younger generation, the elderly citizens have a less immunity. This is also a major reason why the senior citizens have a high fatality rate. And even after this, Italy has been assuring that there have been many preventive measures for better efficiency and resource in the future. And it's also assuring that no citizen was left to die. I hope the Chair, United Kingdom, and other diplomats are satisfied with the response. Thank you.
Spain. With the permission of Chair, I want to pose a question to China.
You can question.
As COVID spread all across the world, China gained more from the pandemic. Lot of European industries were bought by Chinese businessmen. How does China defend itself?
With the permission of the chair, I would like to answer this question.
Yes, the floor is ready for your
Like all other countries, China also suffered economic crisis due to the COVID-19. But due to strict government measures and proper medication, we have recovered our economy. Buying European industries was in progress before pandemic, so it would not be justified that we gained from the pandemic. Thank you.
Venezuela.
Our country is having a crisis from 2016 and fourth is like a crisis within a crisis. So we would request the international community to lend their assistance for our recovery.
The United Nations are well aware about the conditions of Venezuela. WHO and other countries like Canada, Brazil are proactively helping Venezuela. We will appreciate the same support from other countries. Russian delegate, over to you.
Russia is ready to offer financial assistance to the recovery of Venezuela. Thank you.
Japan, with the permission of the chair, I would like to pose a question to Russia. Why is your government using Sputnik V vaccine which is not approved by the WHO to vaccinate your population?
Give a pleasure, I would like to answer this question with the permission of the chair.
Yeah, you can answer.
Every country has its own ways of testing the vaccine as per international guidelines. So our government has done all the tests and approved it for our country and other nations as well. And it is also proved that Sputnik is 92% effective against COVID.
South Africa, you can present your views.
Respected Chair, we are not satisfied with the answer of Russia. With your permission, we would like to ask a question.
You may ask the question.
By this statement, you mean that the WHO permission or the WHO tests are not required for vaccinating the people? Yet the locals made any trouble on vaccination because it is not assured by the WHO.
With the permission of the chair, I would like to answer this question. You can answer the question. As there are tests already done by the government for the assurance of the safety of their locals, there won't be any problem regarding the safety of the people. And also there are multiple clinical tests performed before introducing the vaccine to the people. Thank you.
USA.
Why did China not take responsibility and impose the lockdown earlier to curb the disease?
By permission of the chair, I would like to answer this question. You can answer the question posed by
We did fail to identify the disease, but after identifying, we put lockdown, travel restrictions and school closed, etc.
Italy. What's the objection?
We are not satisfied by the response given by China. So, with the permission of chair, I would like to ask a question. Was the restriction sufficient to check the spread? How does your country take the responsibility of lakhs of people who lost their lives in other countries? Was it trade restrictions and international alarm necessary?
As mentioned, we have blocked all the trade routes and closed the international borders and alarmed all the countries about the disease. And it is the failure of all other countries who have failed to protect their people from entering the disease into their country. We think these measures were sufficient because there was a decline in positive cases in our country. Thank you.
Australia,
With the permission of chair, we would like to pose a question to Japan. You can pose the question. The recent Olympics resulted in the spread of Delta variant to many participant countries. Was it justified to conduct Olympics at this time of pandemic?
Respected chair, with your permission, I would like to answer this question posed by Australia.
Yeah, the floor is ready.
Japan has taken all possible measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19 during the pandemic. Tokyo 2020 officials have created a playbook of guidelines for everyone who is traveling to Japan for the Olympics. Many of the measures are familiar and proven from the experience of the past years. Frequent testing, mask mandates, social distancing procedures, as much as a protective bubble for the participants have been used. These are some measures taken by our country. Thank you.
Zimbabwe.
With the permission of the chair, we would like to ask a question to developed countries. Recent years, many financial organizations disfavored Zimbabwe's financial situation. In 2019, International Monetary Fund (IMF) issued several warnings to Zimbabwe's economy for forcing inflation in an effort to increase country's economy. Even though Zimbabwe cleared its debts to IMF, today Zimbabwe asked the international community to assist Zimbabwe.
Although its debts means that Zimbabwe is ineligible for traditional foreign aid, the World Bank has pledged $7 billion to help Zimbabwe fight the pandemic. Other countries have been stepping in to make up for the lack of medical supplies that the money should be typically go towards. Now the China delegate will continue.
As a support to Zimbabwe, we have assisted Zimbabwe with foreign aid. We have also sent medical support team to Harare to fight against the COVID and train the local personnel. We have also sent anti-pandemic tools like mask, gloves and some medicines. Thank you.
Yes, Canada, what is your objection?
I would like to respond to Zimbabwe, the Honorable Chairperson. Thank you. We have diplomatic relation with Zimbabwe since 1980s. From the Special Economic Measures Act in 2008 to the funding of $1.58 million to the cyclones of Idai and Kenneth that broke out in April and March of 2019, we have always assisted Zimbabwe. Even now during the pandemic, we have been helping the people of Zimbabwe by addressing in food security by providing $3 million Canadian to the World Food Programme that had helped 55,000 people in the Malabo district of Zimbabwe, in addition to the $1 million Canadian provided in 2019. We are seriously concerned about the health of Zimbabweans and are towards a long way, especially for children and women. Ensuring the assistance of us towards Zimbabwe, we also hope for better results and support from other countries to Zimbabwe. Thank you, Chair.
We have gone through all countries' difficulties and I foresee every country have resolved it. The World Health Organization, as a part of United Nations, has expertise to coordinate international medical care. WHO is issuing COVID-19 strategic preparedness and response plan for 2021 and accompanying documents as a package aimed at guiding the coordinated action that we must take at national, regional and global levels to overcome the ongoing challenges in the response of COVID-19. SPRP 2021 builds on what we have learned about the virus and our collective response over the course of 2020 and transfers the knowledge into strategic actions. The plan also considers the road we need to travel towards safe, equitable and effective diagnostics and vaccines as part of overall strategy to successfully tackle COVID-19. As leader of Global Incident Management Support Team structure, the UN Crisis Management Team and is a founder of Access to COVID-19 Tools Accelerator, who will harness the world's technical and operational expertise to translate knowledge into coordinated action. We will be ending this session with the UN anthem. I request everyone